Hello and welcome in. It is one of the best times of the year. If you're a high school sports fan in the state of Idaho, we are right in the thick of fall sports championship season. We had soccer championships and golf championships already take place. Cross country comes up this weekend. We've got football starting this weekend, swimming, but of course, center stage this weekend throughout the state of Idaho is the state volleyball tournaments. 6 classifications, 6 champions will be crowned, and we are here to break it all down for you on our IdahoSports.com state volleyball tournament preview special. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm Brandon Baney. Let's bring on our volleyball expert. She's been with us for a couple of years now at IdahoSports.com and has done great work throughout the season this year as well. Lynnsie Togiai Ah-Fook. Hi, Lynnsie.
Hi. Glad to be here.
Yes, this is definitely the most exciting time of the year as we break down these state tournament brackets. The number one thing a team wants to be doing is playing consistently well this time of year. There are a lot of teams that were highly ranked this year that didn't make it to state because the consistency fell off just a little bit as we got into the postseason. That consistency is key, right, Lynnsie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just about winning the right matchups at the end. It comes to a certain point in the season and you just have to think win out. That's really the only thing. I mean, rankings, this and that, max preps, all this, it's really just comes down to win. Win at the right time. So
that's right. As a reminder, when we get to the 5A bracket, the number 8 seed won the entire thing last year, Twin Falls High School. So and then the other big storyline kind of coming into state is that 5 of the 6 defending state champions will have a chance to defend their crown. The only classification where the reigning champ didn't make it was Class 1A, which we'll talk about at the very end. So we're going to start with 6A, make our way through all of the classifications, which means, are you ready to talk 6A state volleyball, Lynnsie?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's get to it. Before we break out the state tournament brackets, I wanted to go back and show everybody how districts went. District tournaments take place throughout the state and kind of give you an idea of how each team qualified and got to the state tournament. So 6A, there's only the 3 districts. District 1 up north, District 3 down in Boise, and District 4, 5, and 6 over in East Idaho. Here are the district tournament brackets. So District 1, you see it was just the 3 teams, and Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls played in a best of 3 series. Lynnsie, this went the distance. Coeur d'Alene won the first matchup 3-0. Post Falls won the second matchup 3-1. And then this past Saturday at Coeur d'Alene High, the Vikings dropped the first set and then won the next 3. So Coeur d'Alene, your district champion, and they are moving on to state. Meanwhile, District 3 over in the Boise Valley, Skyview, the district champion once again. You see it right here. They beat Rocky Mountain, so the top 2 seeds played in the championship. They beat Rocky 3-0. We also had Timberline qualify for state by beating Owyhee 3-1, and Eagle took care of Boise 3-1. And then Owyhee and Boise played on Thursday night, last Thursday, to determine the 5th and final spot to state from District 3. And number 7 seed Boise took out number 3 seed Owyhee in 5, 3-2. The celebration was incredible to watch those Boise High girls jumping around and celebrating and hooting and hollering. So congratulations to Boise and Owyhee, one of the better teams this season, not going to state. And then in East Idaho, Madison, the district champions over Rigby. They won 3-1 in the district championship. Rigby wasn't really tested the rest of the way. They defeated Thunder Ridge 3-0 to earn their spot at state as well. So Madison and Rigby are also at state this year. So did anything from the district tournaments jump out at you, Lynnsie, in 6A?
Well, obviously the game that you just talked about, right? Owyhee's been a top-ranked team this whole season, came into the season strong, played well throughout. Just right at the end there, but that particular district, I think, is really tough because there are a lot of top-ranked teams right in there in that Boise area, and they battle it out to the end. I know Skyview's always up there, but so is Rocky Mountain, so is Eagle. So, I mean, I know it's been tough.
Yeah, it's a tough league for sure. A lot of good quality teams, and we'll see a lot of them here competing at state. Let's take a look at the 6A state bracket. This is taking place at Capitol High School in Boise. Right away, Boise gets a chance to continue to be the giant killer. They'll get Skyview right out of the gates. Very interesting. Coeur d'Alene and Rigby in the 4-5 matchup. Rocky Mountain and Timberline, and in all District 3, the 3 versus the 6. And then number 2, Madison against number 7, Eagle. This was the state championship matchup just a couple of years ago, but now they're facing up in the first round. Lynnsie, what jumps out to you first glance at this 6A bracket?
Probably the 4-5, just because I think that one is a little bit unknown for both of them, which can be a good and bad thing. I mean, you can watch teams film all you want, but then, playing them live is very different. And so, I think that so much is unknown to those two teams. And so I think that'll be a good battle. As far as I know, too, that both of those teams have done well this season. They come out with a winning percentage. It's high, and they've battled it out. But yeah, I think they're unknown to each other is what is going to be a good thing about that.
Yeah, real element of surprise possibly with these two. So I think any conversation has to start with the reigning champion, and that would be the Madison Bobcats. They come in with a perfect record as well, Lynnsie. They are the only team in Idaho that is still undefeated, 32-0, 7 championships in their school history, including the last 3 here at the 5A or 6A level, 2022, 23, and 24. Coach Pukahi doing a great job with the girls there. They've got a lot of height. Tori Parker in the middle is a problem for sure. But here's the thing, Lynnsie. Madison didn't really play anybody at state this year besides Rigby, who they beat 4 times, and Timberline at a regular season tournament. And so, yeah, Madison's 32-0, and they played some really good Utah schools and things like that, but they are kind of an unknown coming into this as well.
True. And I think, yeah, they wanted it that way. They want to face, teams from other states and from other places so that they can just really, try to heighten their level of skill. And I think their coach has done a good job. I think the girls themselves and the legacy, the program they have up there is really strong. It runs from when they're just little 9 and 10-year-olds all the way through when they're 18. So I think they're doing a good thing up there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so Madison in the first round will get Eagle, the Eagle Mustangs, 21-13, and they've got quite the championship pedigree as well. 5 championships in their school history. They all came, they won 4 in a row from 06 to 09, which is just incredible. Their head coach is Ashley Graham. She used to coach and be an administrator at Emmett. She's now taken this Eagle program, and they have played a lot of teams. This is kind of the opposite, right? They've played a lot of teams. They've played Boise twice and gotten some wins. They played Timberline. They did lose to Madison, Rigby, Skyview twice. So there's a lot of losses on the resume for Eagle, but that makes them stronger too, in a sense, right?
Very true. I mean, records, don't always reflect how a team is playing, especially towards the end, right? They could have learned, key rotations, how to change this and that. And so, looking at the record now, really, it doesn't matter. It just comes to win out. And, I think they have a good shot. Eagle's always been a top program too.
Yes, for sure. So that's at the very bottom of the bracket here, Madison and Eagle. Let's just work our way up to that 3 versus 6 matchup. Rocky Mountain, I feel like kind of quietly, low-key, had a very good year. They weren't really on too many teams' radars. 24-6, 1 championship in their school history. Judy-Ann Balukov, hopefully I said that right. She's been coaching there a long time at Rocky Mountain. And this is a team that has a lot of potential. Chloe Hansen, the senior outside hitter, is a problem if she gets on a heater. And then I've been really impressed with defensively Sophie Tanner, their libero this year also. What do you think of this Rocky Mountain team?
I think you kind of said it. They've kind of been flying under the radar, which is a good and a bad thing. Well, I think it's good coming into the state tournament, right? Because, a lot of teams are like, oh, yeah, they're doing good, but they don't know much about them. But, their record reflects on them well. They were second throughout their district, and they kind of finished out that way. So obviously they're pretty consistent. So they're a team to watch out for. For sure. And they are one of the few teams that has seen Coeur d'Alene this year. Coeur d'Alene came down to the Rocky Mountain Invitational in October. And so Rocky Mountain got a win over Coeur d'Alene, which is great. They've had some nice wins over Eagle and Timberline. They did lose to Skyview twice. That's kind of the mountain everybody's trying to climb, right, is Skyview. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true.
Well, let's take a look at Rocky Mountain's first round opponent then. If we put that bracket back up on the screen here. Hold on a second. I've got so many graphics this year. I don't know what to do with all of them, Lynnsie. This
There's so
is
many
the
brackets, right? Yeah.
I know, right? They are playing Timberline. Here are the Timberline Wolves, who also had a really great season, 23-9. I mean, look at these losses here. Eagle, Madison, Rigby, Rocky Mountain, Skyview. 5 of their 9 losses this year were to teams in the tournament field. They do have a couple of wins over Eagle this year, and they beat Rocky Mountain as well. So Timberline splitting with Rocky Mountain, and now they get to play each other for the third time, Lynnsie. That can be tough sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to you can't overlook anybody, especially at this point. You can say, "Oh yeah, we've already played them and they know how that went, obviously." But, teams are different at this point, and they can really find themselves and finish out strong. So, I wouldn't base anything on those past wins. That would be my advice. Just play everything as it's going to be a battle.
Yes, for sure. Ren Wallace, one of my favorite names in the tournament, certainly the senior outside hitter from Timberline. She's had a really great season. And I know, Lynnsie, you love a good passer in the middle, right? Good setter. McKenna Satterfield, one of the best in 6A this year as well. So that passing's key.
Yes, it is. There you go.
I'm finally learning something after like 3 years of talking to you about volleyball.
I think you're always focused on like the tallest and the blocker. I'm just like, it has to start somewhere else, right? The game.
I am. I'm a tall guy, so naturally I'm looking at the tall hitters on the outside for sure. So yes, but yeah, you can't be in position to get the kill if you don't have a good pass from the setter. So
Yes.
yeah, for sure. All right, the top half of the bracket, obviously, Skyview is the team that's the number 1 overall seed. They're the team that everyone is trying to knock down here. Famously, their championship streak came to an end last year at the 6A level. They had won 4 in a row previously at 5A. Well, 6A and 5A. They jumped up and down a couple of times, but 6 championships in their history, all in the last 9 years. So they are a recent volleyball power. Coach Kevin Murphy has been there a really long time, has done a really good job building this Skyview program from the club level on up to the high school level. I mean, these 3 names here all will play in college, I'm sure. Bellamy Buse, senior outside hitter, Lizzie Bauer, the junior libero, Lila McClure, the junior setter. And we could have listed, 7 or 8 players in this key players column for Skyview. They're all so critical to their success. Lynnsie, all of their losses this year came to teams from other states, and they went and played in tournaments in California and Las Vegas, the Durango Fall Classic once again. So yeah, they're 24-5, but against Idaho, unbeaten.
And I think, yeah, that'll be key. I mean, obviously they're still a top team to beat. I mean, them and Madison, I think, are going to be the ones who really we're going to see. We're going to see.
What makes Skyview so good every year?
Well, I think you kind of hit it there when you said, the coach has done a good job from the club level all the way to the high school. He really gets the little girls involved. I saw one time that he even like was making teams for like as young as 4 and 5 year olds. That is super young for volleyball. I mean, volleyball is a very technical sport, but the younger that they can actually learn the technique, the better, because then they can, develop it into something. But I just think that the coaches there and the entire staff in that area has done a really good job of involving everybody and trying to introduce the sport at such a young age, and then just keeping consistent with it, right? It's not just we're focused, like our focus is here. No, their focus is on all ages.
Okay, so if you're a 4-year-old and you're playing volleyball, like what size of ball are you playing with? Is it a softball? Like what is it?
It's
What
the
are you playing?
lights. You've seen the lights, the volume lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's those. They use those.
Okay, interesting. 4 and 5. Wow, that's
Well,
cool.
our eights use regular balls to practice, but then in their tournaments they use lights. And so, like when they go, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this ball is so lighter. Can we practice with this?" I was like, "Nope." But nice try though. But we can use it for the games because that's what they use for tournaments.
Yeah, nice try for sure. Can't get anything past you. Okay, the first round matchup for Skyview, the ultimate Cinderella here. Boise High, 20-15 on the season. Lynnsie, Kate Newberry has done a great job as the head coach for Boise. They've never won a volleyball championship. They're one of Idaho's oldest public high schools. And really, Cameron Newberry, Coach Newberry's daughter, sophomore setter in the middle, really controls the action. They've got some good seniors on the outside as well. This is a Boise team that did beat Coeur d'Alene at that Rocky Mountain Invitational this year, and they did just take out Owyhee at the district tournament. They could be catching fire at the right time.
I agree. I think they're on the rise, obviously, to finish out that district tournament and to make it, because their district is tough. So I think they're definitely on the rise.
Yeah, tough district for sure. We'll see if they can maybe spring an upset somewhere along the line. Against Skyview right away is going to be very difficult, but on that back half of the bracket, there's potential certainly because Coeur d'Alene's right next to them on the bracket, right? The Vikings are the number 4 seed overall. Now, they've only lost 4 times this year, Lynnsie, but they're kind of isolated up there in North Idaho. They did come down for the Rocky Mountain Invitational in October, as we mentioned, but otherwise they've played a steady diet of Washington schools and Post Falls and Lake City, and so it's led to a 23-4 record, but they're still kind of an unknown. Their only 2 losses against the field this year came against Boise and Rocky Mountain. This is kind of their year. Their senior outside hitters, Kaylee Paulson and Gianna Kalari, are both phenomenal, and this is kind of the year Coeur d'Alene's pushing in. They've got a veteran team. They've been to state the last couple of years. They're looking now to take that next step.
Yes, very true. And I mean, experience matters, especially at this point. So we'll see if they can continue on, because you're right, they're pretty isolated. So I know a lot of teams throughout the state don't really know them. Even if you've played them just one time, I mean, still doesn't mean that they're the same team right now. So
yeah, so Coeur d'Alene goes, hey, we got the 4 seed. Finally, a team from North Idaho gets a nice seed from Max Preps. Yeah, but you got to play Rigby in the first round. Oh, the Trojans, a very underseeded number 5 team, I thought, 31-8. I mean, look at half of their losses this year, Lynnsie, came to Madison. They played Madison 4 times, including district tournament play. So you take those away, and they're 31-4. The big storyline with Rigby, of course, is Aaron Adams, the former head coach at Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls, for whatever reason, decided to not renew his contract. Rigby says, hey, we've got an opening. We'll take one of the best volleyball coaches in East Idaho, sure. A couple of players did come over with him, but Rigby already had some good players in place. And so this has been a perfect melding of coach and talent.
I agree. It was pretty interesting, I guess, to say the least, as far as players transferring and then, new coach added into that, plus what the program already was and already is. Brinley's been there all 4 years, and then, you added some key teammates from our club team, and then, it's just, so it was interesting to see how it would come together. Not that it would be, unexpected for them to do this well, because with the players they have, the coaching staff, I think that they could do really great things, and here in the end, I know it'll be tough, right? With the opponents that they would have to face towards the end of this, but I do think that they've had a good season.
Yes, I think a top 3 finish for Rigby coming home with a trophy, definitely in the offering for sure. So, okay, Lynnsie, it is prediction time. Let's take a look at the bracket here. I always like to put you on the spot and ask you what you think your championship matchup is going to be, and then who your champion is going to be. What do you think for 6A?
And I'm just like, I don't like to do like just 1 and 2, like just based off of nothing, but I truly do believe that it will be Skyview and Madison. Not because of 1 and 2, but because of their play throughout the season, and because of the coaches and the programs that have, come to understand and know. And I think that the girls on both of those teams are going on to play high level volleyball, so that's going to be a really great match. I am going to stick with Madison though. I believe that they can do it. I believe that the way that they're going into this is, like I said before, it's going to be a battle. I think Skyview is too. They're trying to, redeem themselves and, have that revenge finish for the end, but I'm going to go for Madison.
Okay. I also like Skyview and Madison, the chalk as it were. Of course, Madison very famously beat Skyview last year in the championship. something that hadn't been done in a couple of years. And so, you know what? I will say Skyview gets their revenge, and the Hawks, the number 1 overall seed, win the 6A state volleyball tournament. And again, all of these picks we make are in fun. It's just a fun little thing we like to do. And we love being wrong, too. If we're wrong, we always come back and say, yep, got that one wrong. So, okay, we'll see. It sure looks like Madison and Skyview are on a collision course. And if that happens, we can't wait. Well, we will take a quick break. And when we come back, 5A state volleyball. This was the craziest tournament last year where the Twin Falls Bruins, as the number 8 seed, came all the way through and won the state title. Can they pull off the feat again? We'll find out right after this. It's our 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
All right, welcome back. It is the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special, live on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney joined by Lynnsie, Togiai, Ah-Fook as we break down all of the state volleyball tournaments. It is time for our 5A state volleyball preview. This very famously was the tournament last year where Twin Falls came in as the number 8 seed overall and ended up taking first place. But how did everybody get to state this year? We had a very interesting state play-in match, some really good district tournament action as well. So let's take a look, and we'll just go District 1 on down. So, Lynnsie, North Idaho this year. Lewiston was the number 1 overall seed. They lose to Lakeland in the district championship 3-2. They lose to Moscow in the second place match. So Lewiston, the number 1 seed, unfortunately sitting at home this year. And then Moscow really catches lightning in a bottle. They beat Pocatello, the District 5 champion in the state play-in match this last Saturday, 3-2. So Moscow also going to state. Congratulations to the Bears.
I think that's a crazy district tournament as far as rankings go into it, and then to turn around but I mean, yeah, more power to Moscow because when's the last time that they went?
Oh my gosh. It's been a while, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Lakeland has really dominated this district the last couple of years.
So. Very true. But didn't Lewiston, weren't they 6A before? And then
Yes. Okay. And then they moved down to 5A last year. Their enrollment fell just below the cutoff line. And so, big bummer. And this was on Lewiston's home floor. Both of these losses to Lakeland and then to Moscow both came at the Bengals court as well, which is double ouch. So congratulations. 2 teams from North Idaho. What about District 3 over in the Boise area? It was the top 2 teams playing in the district championship, Middleton and Bishop Kelly. Middleton gets a nice 3-0 sweep, so Middleton advances to state. But Bishop Kelly has to play Valley View, the number 3 seed, on Saturday for that second spot to state. And the Falcons knock off Bishop Kelly in 5, 3-2. So Valley View finds itself back at state. They did this 2 years ago. They had like 7 or 8 wins and got hot at districts and got to state. And so they've done it again. Valley View under 500 at state. Way to go, Falcons, with a new coach this year as well. So Middleton and Valley View are both at state. Over in District, that's the Magic Valley, we had Wood River and Twin Falls, the top 2 seeds in the district championship. They met in the undefeated semifinal as well. Both times Wood River picks up 3-1 wins over Twin Falls, but both the Wolverines and the Bruins get to state from District 4. In District 5, we talked about it, Pocatello and Century. They're the only teams in the district because Preston plays 4A volleyball now. And Century came out and took Pocatello in 5 in that first matchup, 3-2. And then from there, you could tell Pocatello was like, okay, enough messing around. 3-0, 3-0 in the other 2 best of 3s. So Pocatello wins the district, but I don't like this, Lynnsie. A district champion, I don't think should have to do a state play-in match.
I guess it's tough because how do you make that work though? Do you adjust the districts so they don't just have two teams, or do you do this? Like it's like a trade-off. Because I also don't agree like with just two teams there. That's not fair.
Yeah. Well, I will say next year, Lynnsie, Pocatello and Century will be joining all of the District 6 teams, Blackfoot, Idaho Falls, Skyline, all of them, and it's going to be an 8-team conference. So that'll be a little better, right?
Really?
Yes.
Whoa. That's well, because I went to Century, so that's crazy. Okay.
Yes.
So that's, I mean, it makes sense as far as like distance and time and travel because they're all right there, but
Yes. So that works out pretty well, actually, I think. So, and then finally, speaking of District 6, Shelley has been one of the pleasant surprises this year. The Russets have been awesome. I know you featured them in your weekly Keeping Up with the Kill column. Shelley has been great. They do fall to Hillcrest in this undefeated semifinal 3-2. So Hillcrest booked their spot in the district championship. Shelley had to battle back through. This tournament got crazy, Lynnsie. Look at this. Shelley had to play Bonneville, the number 5 seed. You can never count out Coach McMurtry and Bonneville this time of year. Took out Idaho Falls, the number 2 seed, in a loser out 3-0. They swept them. And then Shelley beats Bonneville 3-1. And then Hillcrest beats Shelley 3-1 again in the championship. So Hillcrest and Shelley both advanced to state as well. This was an interesting set of district tournaments in Class 5A, Lynnsie. Some good teams sitting at home. I think of like Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Lewiston. This tournament could look a lot different.
very true. It's always hard, right? Because only 8 teams can make it, and it comes down to this when you win out. So, I mean, both sad and exciting, right? Because some teams, made it right there at the end, but then there's some sad things too. But you just got to keep winning.
Yes, the emotion of the sport for sure makes it tough. So let's take a look at the 5A bracket, see what we're dealing with here. Hillcrest comes in as the number 1 overall seed. Look at that. East Idaho gets the top 2 spots. Hillcrest the 1 seed, Shelley the 2 seed. You got to like that. Hillcrest will play Valley View, the 1 versus 8. Middleton and Wood River in the 4 and 5. We will have an all North Idaho matchup right away. Lakeland and Moscow. I'm sure they love that. And then Shelley and Twin Falls in that 2 versus 7. Lynnsie, what jumps out to you when you look at this bracket?
I think that the 5A is like more even as far as what we're going to expect. It's going to be tight battles all the way through. And that's from all of these matchups. I think, there are some brackets that are more clear cut, and this is one that is not.
Yes, I would agree. I think it's going to be I'm looking especially at like Shelley and Twin at the bottom there, 2 and 7. And I'm like, oh, that's a precarious spot for Shelley as the number 2 seed. Twin Falls has proven that they can go to state no matter the seed and get it done.
Very true. And I mean, as far as like Hillcrest being 1, Shelley number 2, they had to battle it out of their own district to make it because they've had teams who have been, notoriously, better and always going to state as far as that goes. They had Bonneville and Idaho Falls in their district. And so I think it's interesting to see those as well. Not to see them there because I think Hillcrest and Shelley have come a long way. And with the seniors and experience that they have, I do think they're going to go far, though.
Yes, for sure. Well, let's start with, instead of starting with the top team, since this tournament was won by the lowest seeded team last year, let's start there. Let's go with Valley View, the number 8 seed. Why not? Now, they're 10 and 24 overall, but they played a fairly rigorous schedule this year. They played a lot of the best teams from other classifications in their area, like, Fruitland, Melba, etc. They did lose to Middleton twice, and that's really the only data point we have in terms of how they did against other 5A teams this year. New coach, Maddie Spielman, takes over for Amber Fouts, and really, it's a younger team. You can see some of their key players. Brennan Flukager is only a junior. Avery Daniel is just a sophomore. So this is a Valley View team that maybe got to state a year earlier than they expected, but here they are, and they've got a chance to compete.
Yeah, I mean, don't judge a team by that record, by that number up there, right? I mean, just winning at the at the right time is all that matters. So,
That's right. So, and for Valley View, a chance to maybe get their first championship in school history. That would be pretty remarkable for sure. But they will have a very good Hillcrest team right out of the gates. The number 1 overall seed, the Knights, are 25-6 this year. They beat Shelley twice. They lost to Shelley twice. The big distinction is, Lynnsie, the 2 losses to Shelley were in the regular season. The 2 wins were at the district tournament. So is Hillcrest playing its best at the right time?
I think so. I think this team has a ton of potential. I really like their setter. Yeah, I really like this team and how far they've come. I saw them a lot during club season, and yeah, I think these girls have, great chemistry together, and they've been playing a long time together, and everything matters at this point. So yeah, I think that they're going to do well.
Yeah, I think Hillcrest is set up pretty well here. Senior heavy team, Jenna Jensen, and then Alexa and Maya Weatherly, just some of the key players. Coach Dallas Gines, I got to see this past weekend at the college level. His daughter, I'm already blanking on her first name. She plays for Utah State Eastern in the JUCO race.
Definitely.
Yes, Devery Gines. Yeah. That was like an East Idaho All-Star squad. Audrey Atwood from Skyline was there. They had Christensen from Blackfoot. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see all those girls playing for Utah State Eastern for sure. So, Hillcrest looks pretty good. Also on their side of the bracket, again, as we pull up this 5A bracket, really interesting 4 versus 5 here. Let's start with Middleton. They're the 4 seed. James Burston, the head coach. They do have 1 championship in their history. Came in 2005. This is a team that's senior heavy. Zoe Blackwell, who's a great basketball player as well. Avery Summers on the defensive end. Margaret Johansson. They have played a couple of the teams in this field, Lakeland and Shelley specifically. They lost both of those. So for Middleton, I think they know, okay, that's kind of the gold standard of volleyball in 5A. We need to get to that point. The question is, have they made enough improvement since they played those teams in early October to now where we're getting to November in state?
Very true. I mean, Middleton is one of those teams that's like always at state, like no matter like what level they're at or, what's happened throughout their season. I feel like they're always there. But then I don't feel like they don't usually finish out the way that they had hoped.
They always seem to, it doesn't matter the sport, right? They always seem to very consistently get to state. So can they take that next step? We'll see. They have a very good Wood River team that they've got to play right away. Now the Wolverines are 17-12, but they played Highland and Canyon Ridge, and they played all sorts of good 6A teams this year and some really good 4A teams in the area. They did beat Twin Falls 4 times this year. The Bruins are going, what do we got to do to beat these guys? They did play Shelley twice, fell both times. I really like Kristen Rutland, the head coach at Wood River. I think she's done a pretty good job turning this program around. And Wood River comes in with a district championship under their belt. And after they had missed out on state a couple of times in heartbreaking fashion, they're here at state and they're ready to go.
Yeah, I think they have a good shot. I really like their middle. I don't know if her name's Ellie or not, but they have a really good middle.
Yeah, Ellie Sandos, she controls the action every direction, that's for sure. So that is the Wood River Wolverines there. As we make our way continuing through this 5A state volleyball tournament, let's go to the bottom half of the bracket. All North Idaho matchup, Lynnsie, Lakeland and Moscow. Since we went to max preps seeding the teams at state, this seems to happen more often than not. I feel like Malad and Westside have done it a couple of times in 3A volleyball. Gotta love facing a district rival right away, right?
I mean, it happens. I feel like it's a little bit unfortunate because of how many times you have to play them in the season to play them up again. But I mean, at some point, you just got to win out anyways. But I know that those teams are probably not happy to face each other right off the bat again.
Yeah, let me ask you as a coach, what would you prefer? A team that you know well and you've had some success against if you're Lakeland, a team that you have already scouted, you pretty much know what they're going to do. as opposed to you're facing an entirely new team. And yeah, maybe you've watched some film, but that's not quite the same as seeing them live and in person. What would you prefer?
I guess as a coach, I don't really have a preference because I really want to make sure that we understand it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. And I hope that we have the mentality of, again, we got to fight for every point and it doesn't matter because in the end, a lot of times, unfortunately, when you've played a team so many times, it becomes so much harder to beat them a fourth time or a fifth time, whatever the case may be. And so, but then at the same time, when you don't know a team and they just have that consistent play, right? It's like, well, okay, so it doesn't really matter who it is to me.
Spoken like a true coach. We just got to go out and win, right?
Yes.
I like it. I like it. Okay, well, let's take a look at these two teams and see what they're all about. Here's Lakeland, famously the number 1 overall seed last year, my pick to win the state championship. They lost to Twin Falls right away in that 1-8 matchup, battled all the way back to get back to the championship where they fell to the Bruins again. Kelsey Badger has done a great job with this program, and they have got height and good control in the middle. Kendall Day, fantastic passer from the middle. Chloe Neff, one of the better liberos in the tournament, and Reagan Dutton controlling the middle as well. They have beaten Middleton, and they swept Moscow this year, both matches in the regular season. They didn't get to play Moscow at districts because they beat Lewiston in the district championship game. So they, even though Moscow and Lakeland are in the same district, they've only played twice this year. What does Lakeland have to do to get back to the championship match and then make sure they finish off the job this time?
I mean, I think they've proven that they have a lot of experience and endurance, right up to the end. And I think that's always the hard route, though, right? To make the back end and come back around. So, it's really key to win those first matchups. Well, really, like I said, win out. I don't know what else to say. Like, once you lose at this point, it becomes so tough.
Yeah, that's the key is starting. I mean, the further you can go into the winner side of the bracket, the fewer matches you have to play overall. You get to keep your players fresh, and that is significant for sure. And then if we look at Moscow here, Lynnsie, Moscow is 16-14. They do have one championship in their school history, and they are senior heavy as well. And these are all girls that Jessa Skinner and Jackie Williams, they both play basketball as well. So Moscow is tall also. They've got a lot of height on the front line there. And really the only data point we have is they lost to Lakeland twice this year. So Moscow is a team. How much confidence does it give a team like Moscow knowing that they just beat a really good Pocatello program in the state play-in match?
I think it should mean a lot, right? They should be proud that they made it. They should be proud of the way things are going for them. I think Moscow's a little bit unknown to me as far as in the past few years. I don't know if have they made it or not made it for a couple of years. Are they?
Yeah, I think it's been Lakeland and Sandpoint mostly.
Okay. And see, that's why like those names more come to mind, which, I mean, that more power to them, right? They beat Pocatello. They had to battle it clear to here. So I think they're enjoying this moment as they should and really trusting the process right here in the end.
Yep. All right, well, let's wrap up with the 2-7 matchup. This has been one of the best stories in Idaho, regardless of classification this year, the Shelley Russets. I think when the season started, we looked at teams like Hillcrest and Idaho Falls and Bonneville and maybe even Blackfoot. These were all teams we were kind of considering ahead of Shelley. But Cammie Empey, I think this is her second or third year as the Shelley coach, has really turned this program around in a short amount of time. Very senior heavy. You see the three seniors there, Jada Cook, Mallory Hyam, Jocelyn Ivy. But look at all of the wins. They've beaten Middleton. They've beaten Wood River twice. They've beaten Hillcrest twice. Yeah, they lost to Hillcrest twice, but still, this has been a really fun story to watch this year. What makes Shelley so good this year, Lynnsie?
Yeah, they have a lot of experience there. I know they have a lot of seniors on that team who those girls have been playing, year-round club, school, multiple sports together. And that's really built up that chemistry and, yeah, I mean, knowledge of the game from their coach helped them out. I think they're really coming on strong. I do want to say though, I did say in the preview before, I said Shelley was going to be good and Hillcrest.
Yes.
I knew that they would.
And I will give you an extra when we talk 4A. You were all over Preston too, and we'll talk about Preston coming up here in a little bit. So I will say I wasn't
I was
considering
like, no,
Shelley.
I said they're going to be good.
Yeah, that's true. So yes, really fun to watch this Shelley team this year, but they get the defending champs right away from Twin Falls. Now the Bruins are only 15-14, but they played a lot of 6A schools. They played Rocky Mountain. They played Timberline. They played Kimberly this year at the 4A ranks. Really good teams. You see the 2 titles very recently in 2021 and 2024. New coach this year in Natalie Eller, but some of the same names, Millie Western especially. If she is, it's going to be a fierce battle between her and Sandoz from Wood River for the Conference Player of the Year. I think they're both very deserving, but Millie Western does a really good job. And yet Twin Falls hasn't really played any of the other teams here at state besides Wood River. So they are kind of an unknown, right?
Yep. Coming into it unknown. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't count these guys out, obviously. I mean, I think we got advised of that last year. They always have a good program. They have really good players who can come on strong. I think a key for them is just, what type of mentality they're bringing in and if, they can come together right now.
Yep, it's going to be really fascinating to see if the Bruins can pull it off and catch lightning in a bottle 2 years in a row as the number 8 seed and then as the number 7 seed. That would be really interesting for sure. Lynnsie, this is one of the tougher ones to predict for me, this 5A tournament. This is taking place at Timberline High School down in Boise. What is your championship prediction?
Mine. Okay, but I'm just going off of what I think throughout. I do think it's going to be Hillcrest and Shelley. I know they played each other a lot. I know that all of this is tight, but still understanding all these teams and, what they can bring, I think it's going to be them in the end. And I do think that Hillcrest is going to take it.
Okay. Hillcrest and what was that other team?
Shelley.
Okay, all East Idaho. For somebody who says, I don't really like picking 1s and 2s. That's all you've done so far, Lynnsie.
Well, if it's there, it's there. But I don't mean to just, I'm not a bandwagon. You'll find that about me. I am not. But I will definitely root for, progression and things that I see, that I've seen. So.
Yes. Okay. This is hard. I'm sticking with my Lakeland Hawks here. I think they get to the championship. I'm going to say it's, even though they're on the same side of the bracket now, I think it's going to be Lakeland and Shelley in the championship. One of them will come through the back half of the bracket and earn their spot. And I will take, for the second year in a row, we'll see, I'm going to take Lakeland over Shelley. That's me sticking with my North Idaho bias since that's where I live now. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. 2 teams on the same side of the bracket, I think, will meet back up in the championship. So I will take Lakeland over Shelley. All right. When we come back, maybe the most dominant team we've seen, certainly the most dominant team we saw last year, just in terms of pure wins, the Bear Lake Bears. And they are loaded for bear, pardon the pun, again this year at the 4A level. A lot of good teams are lining up to see if they can knock off Bear Lake. Can any of them do the job? We'll find out right after this. Our state volleyball tournament preview special continues right after this on IdahoSports.com.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Ideal. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it.
College costs money.
Welcome back to the 2025 IdahoSports.com state volleyball tournament preview special. Brandon Baney here with Lynnsie, Togiai, Ah-Fook as we are making our way through the state tournament brackets, Class 4A, where Lynnsie, the power is kind of undergone a change where Kimberly had it for a while and then Fruitland had it recently. Last year, though, Bear Lake burst onto the scene and just took the crown from everybody, and they look really good in their title defense this year as well.
I agree. I think Bear Lake is really on the rise. I mean, last year they had a couple of seniors, but this team overall has been able to build together because they were younger.
Yes, a lot of good experience, and by the way, they won the state basketball title as well. So these girls, that doesn't always happen, but volleyball, basketball sweep, and may do it again this year. We'll have to wait and see. But let's take a look at how all of the district tournaments played out from North Idaho all the way over to District 6 over in East Idaho. We'll put the district brackets up on the screen so everybody can see how these teams got to state and qualified here. Let's start with the District 1 Intermountain League. This is just a 2-team league with Timberlake and Bonners Ferry. Timberlake swept it and then had to play McCall Donnelly in a really tough state play-in match here, Lynnsie, in Lewiston on Saturday. I will admit, I thought McCall Donnelly was going to win this matchup, and Timberlake came out in 5 and got the win. So the Tigers definitely earned their spot at state. Congratulations to Timberlake there.
McCall Donnelly has always been a good team, so that's that's got to be a good win for them.
For sure. Let's see. My computer is frozen up for a second here. So 4A District 3, that's over in Boise. That is where Fruitland and Coal Valley Christian, the top 2 seeds, met in the district championship, and Fruitland got a 3-0 sweep. So Fruitland and Coal Valley Christian both moving on to state. We talked about McCall Donnelly, the number 4 seed. They took out number 3 Weiser for a chance to go to state via the play-in match, but they lost to Timberlake there. So it's just the 2 teams this year from District 3. District 4, Kimberly defeats Filer in the undefeated semifinal, 3-1. Then Filer comes back through in the championship and beats Kimberly in the first set, 3-2. It sets up the winner-take-all second matchup, and Kimberly sweeps Filer there. Filer then has to play South Fremont in a state play-in match. I really thought this one could be a coin flip. Both teams looked pretty even to me. Filer gets the win, 3-1. So Filer advances to state as well. And then over in East Idaho, you had Bear Lake take out Snake River in the undefeated semifinal, 3-2. So Snake River really pushed Bear Lake here. But then Preston did to Snake what Snake did to Bear Lake. And Preston pushes Snake River and knocks out a really good Panthers team, 3-2. So Preston, kind of a Cinderella, as it were. Then they fall to Bear Lake in the district championship. But Bear Lake and Preston both advanced to state. And then up north in District 6, Sugar Salem, Yawn, same story here. They sweep South Fremont 3-0, and South Fremont then fell in that play-in match to Filer. So what was your takeaway from all of the district tournament action, Lynnsie?
I think that it was good to see, Bear Lake get tested there in a 5-set thriller. But then, it was a sad ending for Snake River there too. They had to battle Preston, and then they had to battle Bear Lake, and then battle Preston again, and then they lost out, which good on Preston. They have some good players there too. I think, out of all of it, everyone is like focusing on Bear Lake, which, as they should. They earned the state title last year, right? And I feel like they still have a lot of key players there. But I think it goes to show that, there's still, tight battles to be had. And Snake River showed that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let's take a look at this bracket here. Bear Lake is the number 1 overall seed. They will play Timberlake, the 8 seed. The 4 and the 5, this is a really interesting one. Preston and Fruitland. The 3 and 6, also very interesting. Coal Valley Christian and Sugar Salem. And then we have Kimberly and Filer, the 2 and the 7. And this tournament taking place at the Mountain America Center over in Idaho Falls. Have you been in there yet, Lynnsie?
I have not. I've only been around it like on the 4th of July, just like walking around, but I've never been in it for an event, no.
I've seen it several times from the interstate as I'm driving into Idaho Falls.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
I've heard it's a great facility. I'm just glad East Idaho's getting to host some stuff finally.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, let's start with the number 1 team in this bracket. It is the Bear Lake Bears. 33-3 on the season. They went over and beat. They played some tournaments in Wyoming this year, Lynnsie, and they were beating what would be like 6A schools in Wyoming. They were beating teams from like Casper and stuff, Bear Lake this year. So they played a rigorous schedule. 6 state championships in their history, including last year, 2024. Stephanie Birch, the coach, has done a great job. And yet, they've got some senior leaders, Emmy Sharp, the setter, Cortland Skinner, the hitter, but they're still fairly young too. They've got a lot of younger players that they're leaning on. Hallie Wells, you can't coach height, and Hallie Wells definitely has the height on the outside there. They are kind of like, they kind of copied Madison, where they didn't want to play too many of their fellow 4A schools. They wanted to remain somewhat of a mystery, so they loaded up on out-of-state competition. So consequently, Lynnsie, the only team they've played is Preston, but they did beat them 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're playing pretty consistently, but then, they can still be tested. I believe that too.
What makes this Bear Lake team so good?
I think, I think their chemistry, they really focus on that, on, having the girls do a lot on and off the court as far as team bonding and, building that great foundation of what a team should be. We talk a lot about, being selfless versus selfish. And I think that's like the foundation of them. They really hone in on do it for each other, not for not for anyone else or any outside noise. We're just right here. This is for us.
Yeah, they are a fun team to watch, that's for sure. They are going to get Timberlake, the number 8 seed here. The Tigers 12-10. It's hard for the smaller schools in North Idaho to find opponents and really fill out the schedule. So you see where like Bear Lake played 36 matches this year, Timberlake 22, not quite up there. Lisa Garden, the head coach. Amariana Oliveri, senior outside hitter, really good athlete. You could put her at pretty much any spot on the floor, and she's going to go in and do a really good job. And then Addie Archer, just a sophomore. She's really come on strong this season for Timberlake as well. But you see it there. Key wins, none. Key losses, none. They haven't really played anybody outside of North Idaho this year, so they are kind of the ultimate wild card.
Yeah, a little bit hard, right? It's just very unknown, but they're unknown, which they can use to their advantage.
Yes. It's really hard as well for that team from North Idaho. Typically, they come in as the number 8 seed. It's really hard to get any movement up with the Max Preps rankings there. Let's continue. That's the 5A bracket. How about the 4A bracket? Let's continue our journey. 4 and 5 here, Lynnsie. All right, this is your chance. Get your flowers. You were all over this Preston team in the preseason. You said, hey, them dropping down to 4A, they've got a pretty decent program. They have a great shot. And 22-9, and Coach Bridget Knapp's team is on to state.
Yeah, I believe it. I think that a lot of these teams have, really good programs, and then they're trying to either turn it around or, just build off of what was already there. And I think that a lot of these players are really buying in, even though if they're like seniors or juniors even, I think it's hard if you get a new coach at that point, but I feel like all these players have done a really good job to buy into their coach and what they're trying to do.
And you could see it in that second place match against Snake River at districts. I mean, they just started believing, a couple of plays went their way. They really started rallying and they just believed. And it was really fun to watch them pull it out in 5 over Snake River there at districts. And now they've got Fruitland, and Fruitland's like, hey, don't forget about us. Yeah, we're the 5 seed, but we went 15-7 this year. Brooke Hardy, I feel like, has been at Fruitland for like 9 years now. She's been a starter since her freshman year. She was the player of the year as a freshman for the entire state for 4A volleyball. She's finally a senior. Eva Wall has been a starter since day one. Kennedy Fitch is another young sophomore. Rena Sitz, the coach. They've won 3 championships, including in 2023. They beat Cole Valley Christian twice this year. They also lost to Cole Valley Christian once in the regular season, and they did drop a match to Sugar Salem this year as well. But what do you think about Fruitland?
They're kind of a wild card, a little bit of a roller coaster there. I think if they can find the consistency and really figure it out, I think, Brooke Hardy is an amazing player and she'll go on to do amazing things. But obviously, it has to go beyond just one player, because in volleyball, 3 players have to touch it every time, most of the time. And so I think for them, it's just, figuring out their dynamic and who they are as a team.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? It is a team effort in volleyball. It's not like basketball where you can have one player just go down and take the shot for you. You got to work together in volleyball. So that top half of the bracket will be very interesting. Bottom half, okay, Coal Valley Christian and Sugar Salem. So here are the Chargers, who moved up last year. Their school got so big, they went from 3A to 4A. Didn't really seem to miss a beat. I mean, they're like, hey, at least we don't have to play Melba anymore. They still play Melba in the regular season, but they're not in the same conference. The Chargers, 18-5-3 this year, pretty consistently ranked in the coaches poll throughout this fall too. But again, Fruitland is the only team they've played in this tournament field. They've got the Hedegaard girls, Alyssa the senior, Emily the sophomore, Neva Coons is just a sophomore. So this is kind of a younger Coal Valley Christian team. Riley Evans in her second season as the Chargers coach. And I think playing with house money a little bit here. I think everyone's kind of overlooking Coal Valley Christian a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit, which, they like, I think, at this point, where they kind of were unknown anyways, because like you said, moved up a division? Is that what they did?
Yes, they moved up from 3A to 4A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, unknown to most of them. But I think they've always been consistent, right? Because they've always done really well as far as their seasons go, and thinking back, didn't they usually make it to state on their level?
Yes, they in Melba every year. You can pretty much bookmark it. So it'll be fun to see if they can continue their trajectory here in 4A. And then you mentioned consistency. I mean, nobody's more consistent than Sugar Salem. I mean, there's only one other team we're going to feature here today on the preview that has more championships than the 10 that Sugar Salem has in their school history. I mean, it's just insane what they're able to accomplish. The Toshas. Tasha Peterson is the head coach. Tasha Larson, senior leader. They're really senior heavy overall. Brindley Bradshaw, Haley Phillips, a couple more players to watch. They've beaten Fruitland. They've lost to Kimberly. I think this is a team that it wouldn't surprise me if they finished top 3. It wouldn't surprise me if they went 2 and out either. I think there's a wide range of outcomes here for Sugar Salem.
I agree with that statement. And I've seen them play. They were at the Butte tournament. I think they have, really amazing moments sometimes, and then they kind of let it slip up a little bit. So they're very, just a wild card. Not sure which way it's going to go for them. But as far as consistency goes as a program, yes, Sugar's always been there.
Yeah, kind of the gold standard for sure. And then 2 district rivals will face each other in the opening round as well. Kimberly comes in as the number 2 seed. The Bulldogs are 19-8. Coach Melissa Edwards, and a young team. Taya Plew kind of leads them in most of the categories. Statistically, she's a junior. They've got 2 really good sophomores, Avery Beard and Brooklyn Verway. They've beaten Filer 4 times this year. They've lost to Filer at districts 1 time. They beat Sugar this year as well. This is going to be the 6th time that Kimberly and Filer play each other this year at the opening round at state. That's a lot. That's a lot, right?
That is a lot. And I bet both teams were just like, no. Can we just play someone else first at least?
Yeah. No rest for the weary, that's for sure. So Kimberly, and now, Filer on the other side, if we take a look at the Wildcats, they know that they have what it takes to beat Kimberly. Alexandria Foster has done a good job with this program. Brooke Parker and Breck Bowman, Brooke and Breck kind of lead this Filer team this year. Kimberly is the only team they've played in the tournament field. So the Wildcats are kind of the team I could see. Maybe they lose to Kimberly right away, but then they finish top 4 on Saturday. They just get hot and knock off a couple of teams along the way.
Yeah, I think Filer's one of they have the hitters to do it, but kind of need to figure some things out on their ball control. But I mean, like you said, it's just figuring it out at the right moment can be key. So
it'll be very interesting to see if Filer can maybe beat Kimberly for the 2nd time in about a week here. That would be a lot of fun for sure. Okay, here is the 4A bracket. Let's make our championship predictions. Lynnsie, what do you think?
Well, I think Bear Lake's going to be in it. And, oh no. I was just looking over the numbers just to see, but I do think Kimberly has a good shot. But, I also think, honestly, I think Coal Valley Christian could kind of be there. Sugar too. That one's a little more unknown for me, but I'm going to stick with Kimberly.
Okay, third bracket in a row. You've gone 1 and 2, Lynnsie. Just saying. This one's.
But I'm not a bandwagon, I swear.
I'm with you. Bear Lake, I think, pretty confidently you can mark them down. Who do they play? It could be Fruitland, could be Preston, could be Coal Valley Christian, could be Kimberly. I will take Coal Valley Christian and Bear Lake. That'll be my prediction. I'll take Bear Lake to win and defend their title there at the 4A level. So
Me too.
Okay.
Me too. I do take Bear Lake.
Yes, we both are on the Bear Lake train. When we come back, 3A volleyball. This one is going to be a tough one to predict as well. There may be a new statewide player named Ambrose that has really rocked the boat this year. We'll figure out what the Archers are all about right after this break. It is the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament preview special on IdahoSports.com.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Welcome back to the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament preview special on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney with Lynnsie, Togiai, Ah-Fook, making our way through the brackets here, Lynnsie. Let's talk 3A volleyball. And we will start, of course, by taking a look at all the district tournaments and how everybody got to state. Let's start up north, where last year the Central Idaho League, Kellogg, very famously went 2-0 last year as the number 1 seed. They wanted to make sure that, I think that's really fueled their entire season this year. We'll talk about Kellogg in a little bit here. Kellogg sweeps Priest River 2-0 to advance to state as the district champions. Priest River then beats Grangeville last Friday 3-0 to also advance to state. So congratulations, Priest River, first time at state in quite a while, I think. If we go District 3, pretty much chalk. Ambrose and Melba, the top 2 seeds. Ambrose wins 3-1. They're the district champs. Melba gets to state as well. Nampa Christian, the 4 seed, takes out New Plymouth, the 3 seed, 3-0 to earn a spot in the play-in match, where they took out Ryrie on Saturday 3-1. And they were up 2-0, and Ryrie had to pull one out of the fire just to send it to the 4th set. But Nampa Christian holds on and wins 3-1. So Nampa Christian becomes the 3rd team from District 3 to get to state this year. Over in District 4 and 5, Declo and Wendell kind of joined forces with the Southeast Idaho teams there. Pretty much went the way we thought. The top 2 teams, Malad and Westside, played on Saturday in the district championship. Malad won 3-0 in the sweep, but both Malad and Westside are at state and thankfully not playing each other in the first round this year. And then finally, District 6, the nuclear conference, Firth defeats Ryrie in the district championship 3-1. And then Ryrie, as we mentioned, lost to Nampa Christian in that play-in match. So Firth is the only team at state from District 6. It seems like these district tournaments went pretty much the way I thought they were going to go, Lynnsie.
Yeah, I agree. Ambrose is having a year, man, to turn around from the season that they had previously. That's significant improvement.
We could kind of see it building 2 years ago, and then last year they got to state, and this year they are legit. They are the number 1 overall seed as we look at this bracket. It is Ambrose and Westside in the 1 versus 8. Priest River gets the 4 seed. I was pretty surprised by that. Nampa Christian is the 5. Malad and Melba. You talk about an all-timer for a first-round matchup. Malad and Melba, 3 versus 6. And then Kellogg and Firth hanging out down there, number 2 against number 7. What do you think of this 3A bracket?
Oh, it's another tough one. But I think with Malad and Melba playing each other right off the bat, that's tough because they've been in a lot of championship matches, both of them.
Yeah, that is. That's like a championship match. It's like Madison and Eagle in that 6A bracket, kind of a championship rematch right away in the first round. Well, without further ado, let's get to it. Let's talk about Ambrose and what makes them so good. Actually, let's start with Melba. They are the defending champions,
Yeah.
and they have won, in fact, the last 3 titles in 2022, 23, and 24. Melba went 19-13 this year. They did beat Nampa Christian. They lost to Ambrose 3 times. What does Melba have to do to solve the Ambrose problem and defend their title?
I think they just have to find themselves, what's within themselves that, they've been missing, throughout the season, because they obviously have some losses there from more than just Ambrose. So I think they just need to find their consistency again right here at the end, just find that mentality.
They do have a good coach in Curtis Johnson, and a lot of these girls have been playing. I mean, Dilbeck, Johnson, and Lober are all seniors. They've all been pretty much varsity contributors since their sophomore season. So, Melba, sneaky still, I think a really good team, despite being the number 6 seed overall. Malad is going, geez, what did we do to deserve this? I mean, they went 26-9, and you talk about programs that are consistently great, 8 championships in Malad school history. Cammie Tripp, one of the best volleyball coaches in East Idaho for sure. And again, Izzy Haycock, great 3-sport athlete, controls the middle well as the setter. Liv Nelson is a 6-footer that plays in the middle. And Malad has had a nice season. They have beaten Nampa Christian twice. They've beaten Westside 4 times. They did play Ambrose 1 time this year. Ambrose did get the win. I'm sure Malad has filed that away in the back of their mind.
As they should at this point. They should just put that back there and leave it there.
That's right. So what does Malad have to do to what makes Malad so good year in year out? I feel like they've been to state like 20 years in a row here.
Yeah. I feel like they're consistently at state. It's just not quite getting that consistent finish that they're looking for. Been in the championship quite a few times, even in these past 5 years. I think they just have to they have to push to the end. They're going to face some really tough competition. So, they can do it, but it comes to that believing moments again, right? Believing what you can do in that moment and just showing it, show out.
Yeah, and this is going to be a bracket where it's kind of a war of attrition on the back half. That consolation bracket is going to be fierce. So the longer you can stay on the right side of the bracket, that winner's side, I think the better off it's going to be for you overall. So that is the Malad Dragons there. And then if we look at the bottom half of this bracket, the other matchup, Kellogg and Firth. Let's talk about those 2 teams real quick. This is a Kellogg team that I was pretty high on coming into the season. I felt like they were going to be pretty fueled by how their season ended last year, going 2 and out of districts, 24-1-2. They went down to the Ryrie Bulldog Bash tournament to kick off the season. Turned a lot of heads there. They pretty much won the tournament down there. Stephanie Batchelder, great job as the coach. They've got Paige Urana, junior outside hitter. Stutzky, great libero. Danny Hendrickson brings a little size to the middle. Outside of that Ryrie Bulldog Bash, though, Kellogg then went, okay, we're just going to stay up north now. And you saw a little taste of what we've got, but then they kind of just stayed up in North Idaho this year. What do you think of Kellogg?
We played Kellogg. I like Kellogg. We were also there at the Ryrie tournament. So yeah, that was the only one that we split, and we ended up losing by more in point differentials. But Kellogg brings a lot of great ball control and chemistry on the court and great communication on the court. I think that their setter does a really nice job as far as placement. Very, very smart court sense. I have a lot of good things to say about them.
I do. I think Kellogg is a team that really has potential this year to come home with a trophy, certainly, maybe compete for that top trophy. We'll see. First of all, though, they do have a good first-round matchup with Firth, and Firth is a team that's always under the radar. They went 20-7 this year and were only the number 7 seed. They're like, well, geez, that kind of is disrespectful. They've got 3 really good juniors here in Reese Clayson, Megan Jacobson, and Shelby Perry. They won their district. They beat Westside. That is the only other team at state that Firth has faced this year, though. So Firth is kind of like Kellogg, a little bit of an unknown.
Yeah, I think Firth always does good things, from the club level to high school. Those girls get a lot of experience together, which is also another key point. Yeah, I think, oh, that's going to be a tough matchup right off the bat for Kellogg and Firth because they're unknown to each other, but then they both have a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean, this whole bottom of the bracket, if you told me it was like Firth and Melba in that winners matchup, the 6 and the 7, I'd be like, yeah, I could see it. Like,
Yeah.
Totally plausible. So, all right, let's go to the top half of the bracket. Priest River, the number 4 seed at state for the first time in a long time. And Priest River went 16-3 this year. Now, the problem is they didn't play anybody besides North Idaho and Washington. They lost 3 times to Kellogg, including the district championship. They are a young team as well. Reagan Turner, really good player as a junior. They have McKinley Burgess Duquette, who's only a sophomore. Priest River is a team that I think they are at state for the first time in a long time, and they could be okay with that. But I think they're like, no, let's go compete. We're the number 4 seed. We've got a chance to actually not just get to state, but a chance to come home with a trophy, possibly.
Right. I think, and they're just playing, through the process right now of enjoying it, of, making it, but not have any, championships as well. And just, knowing that Kellogg's beat them a few times, but still believing in what they can do. I think, oh man, this one is another tough one, this bracket.
Yeah, it is. And they will play Nampa Christian, who went 25-12-2 this year. But if you look at their 12 losses, 4 were to Ambrose, 2 were to Malad. They also lost to Melba. So that is 7 of their 12 losses to, really good teams that are also in the field. And this is a young team. There are a lot of young teams at this 3A state tournament this year. They have several freshmen that are in the starting lineup, including Charlie Tinsley, the freshman libero. Abby Gregory is only a sophomore. Luciana Vermeer, only a junior. Very young Nampa Christian team. Jessie Haragos, I believe this is her first season as the Nampa Christian coach as well. It might be her second season. But either way, fairly new coach and a lot of new players kind of laying the foundation here for Nampa Christian.
Yes, they are younger, but they have really, really good ball control. And I don't think they're obviously not new to the game or new to playing with each other, because the way that they play is, that the way that a team should play. They move well together, move like they're on a string together, which is really key.
Yep. And then finally, our 1 versus 8 matchup. Let's start with West Side. They are the number 8 seed, the Pirates, 20-12. A flash from the past, Melinda Royer came out of retirement to retake the head coaching job at West Side. She had coached them for years, had, these championships that they won in 2011 and 20 and 21 were under her watch. She stepped back the last couple of years, came out of retirement, is coaching the Pirates again, gets them back to state. If you have the name Miley and you play at West Side, you're going to be pretty good. Miley Bingham, Miley Kundick. They also have Allie Henderson, great senior setter. They beat Preston 4 times. I think that's a misprint. They did lose to Firth and they lost to Malad 4 times, and I don't think they played anybody else in the 3A bracket this year. But what do you think about West Side?
We also had the opportunity to play them this year. We went to 3 in a really tight match, and I think from what I remember, they have some really powerful hitters, and they look like it just happens with ease though. Like something will happen and then like it's just like, oh yeah, like just another ball, but then like the next one they just like slam it in your face and you're just like, whoa. And they're just very like nonchalant about it.
Yeah, they're just good athletes. Doesn't matter the sport at West Side for sure. And last and certainly not least, the number 1 overall seed, the team that has been turning heads all year, along with Shelley, one of the best stories of the season, the Ambrose Archers, 31-4. Jeff Campbell, the head coach, Anna Campbell, standout junior hitter. Eva Penny is also a great junior middle. Look at the teams they've beaten. They've beaten Nampa Christian 4 times, Melba 3 times. They beat Malad. They have not lost to any of the other teams that are here at state this year. So Ambrose is the favorite coming in, and they should be. What makes Ambrose such a good team, Lynnsie?
I think, like you said, in these past 2 years they've done a lot of rebuilding, and they've really took it upon themselves to do the work behind it, because that significant of a turnaround within 2 years, 2 seasons is is crazy. And so the hard work behind the scenes is equaling what we're seeing now.
Ambrose took 4th at state last year. They lost on Saturday morning to Nampa Christian for a chance to battle back. And then, of course, Melba won the championship. So the top 3 or 3 of the top 4 teams at state last year were Melba, Nampa Christian, and Ambrose, along with Malad. Guess what? All 4 of those teams are back this year. So is it going to be the same Final Four again this year, Lynnsie? Is it going to be different? What do you think?
Okay, this one might be even tougher than the 5A. I think it's going to be Ambrose and Kellogg in the championship.
No, 1 versus 2. Imagine that.
I know, I didn't mean to. But I really do like Ambrose, and I really like Kellogg. Not that all these other teams it's going to be tight. All I know is all these teams have really good players, they have really good coaches, really good programs overall, and so I do think this one is probably, we're going to see the tightest of matchups in this classification.
Yeah, I agree. This is a really tough one to predict. I love Kellogg. There's other teams I love a little bit more, though. I do like Ambrose, the number 1 seed. Here's a hot take. I think Malad ends up on the loser side of the bracket at some point and battles back and gets to the championship against Ambrose. I've got Ambrose and Malad, and I think Ambrose, by virtue of not having to battle through the consolation side, maybe is a little fresher. And so I will take Ambrose over Malad in my 3A championship there. So,
and I think that's a really good prediction too. I do. I like that. I do think Ambrose is going to come out on top. I do agree with that.
Yeah. Ambrose looks really good this year for sure. So it'd be their first championship in school history in volleyball also. So, awesome. All right. All that's left are the small schools, 2A and 1A. We'll break it all down for you right after this. It's the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Ideal. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it.
College costs money.
Welcome back to the Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special 2025 edition on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney here with Lynnsie, Togiai, Ah-Fook. Let's look at the 2A volleyball landscape. We'll start with the district tournaments, how everybody got to state. Up in District 1, the Scenic Idaho Conference, Wallace loses to Lakeside in this undefeated semifinal 3-2. They have to battle back. They play Lakeside in the district championship match at North Idaho College. They sweep it 3-0, which sets up the winner-take-all showdown this past Saturday at Lakeside High School, and Wallace again gets the sweep. So Wallace sweeps Lakeside 2 times in a row, and it's the Wallace Miners back at state for the first time in a couple of years. Lakeside, not sure what happened, just ran out of gas at the very end of the season. Over in the White Pine League, District 2, craziness, Lynnsie. Troy and Togiai 1 versus 3 in the district championship. Togiai knocks off Troy 3-1, and so the Cubs advance to state. And then you're thinking, okay, Troy's probably going to have to play Potlatch, the number 2 seed, in a really tough matchup. No, Potlatch doesn't get there. Lapway, the number 4 seed, beats Potlatch 3-2. So you've got the 3 and the 4 potentially at state. Troy does settle back in, though, and they sweep Lapway 3-0 to earn their spot at state. They took the hard road, that's for sure. And congratulations to Togiai. First time in I don't know how long that Troy was not the district champion. So way to go, Togiai Cubs. District 3, this is down in Boise, the Western Idaho Conference. 1 versus 2, pretty much. Liberty Charter and Wilder. And it's Wilder with the 3-2 win in 5 sets over Liberty Charter. And those girls were celebrating. It was awesome to see the Wilder girls. They were really excited to win the district title. And then in the third place match, Victory Charter, the number 5 seed, beat Idaho City, the number 4 seed, 3-1. And so Victory Charter advanced to a play-in match against Butte County, the best team in the state. Really ridiculous that they had to play a play-in match, but Butte County sweeps it 3-0. So District 4, this was also a very crazy tournament. The top 4 teams were all pretty evenly matched. Hagerman was 1, Valley was 2, Murtaugh was 3, Oakley was 4. It's Oakley and Valley in the district championship. Valley wins it 3-1. Hagerman falls to Murtaugh 3-1 in the third place match. And then it's Oakley over Murtaugh 3-1 in the second place match. So it's Oakley, the number 4 seed at state, joining Valley, the number 2 seed, and Hagerman, which had been a top 3 team all year, unfortunately stuck at home for state. And then over in East Idaho, Butte County, no problems with Grace. They beat them 3-1. They beat them 3-0. Butte County then beats Victory Charter 3-0 in the state play-in match at Canyon Ridge. They got a nice trip to Twin Falls out of the deal, I suppose. And Butte County moving on to state as the defending champion, and I would say still the heavy favorite this season. Lynnsie, anything from the district tournaments jump out at you?
No. I think the favorite is definitely Butte. The Hagerman district, that one was a battle for all of those teams. I do think, between Hagerman, Valley, Murtaugh, Oakley, they were all really tight battles for those teams.
All really deserving to be at state for sure. But unfortunately, only 2 get to go. So Butte County's the 1 seed. They'll play Liberty Charter, the number 8. Oakley and Togiai, really fun 4 versus 5 matchup. Valley, the 3 seed, will play Wallace, the 6. And then it's Troy and Wilder there in the 2 versus 7. So let's start with Butte County. They are the overwhelming favorites. As we said, the Pirates come in with a 36-2 record. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who they've lost to. They've played some really impressive teams this year. They've beaten Oakley and Valley. They've also beaten teams like Sugar Salem. They've beaten some 5A schools this year. I mean, Butte County is just really impressive. Senior Coley Simpson, kind of the heart and soul of the team as the libero. Abby Knight, really strong player in the middle. Autumn Gamet on the outside as well. And Gretchen Simpson has done a really nice job with these girls. I know Butte County is a team you've seen up close and personal, Lynnsie. What makes the Pirates so good?
They play a lot of volleyball. I mean, they'll never get bored up there because they'll just create a volleyball tournament. They'll just be playing. Those girls will play all the time. They love the game, and it's been fun to see them progress because I've gotten to see them play throughout the years since they were like 8th graders, incoming freshmen kind of thing. And so to see that junior class and the seniors, really come together, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, really fun to watch these Butte County girls. They will play Liberty Charter right away. The Patriots 15-11 this year. Elizabeth Belknap, the head coach, and Addie McCain. Great to see her back. She injured her knee right before basketball season last year. Had a long road to recovery, but she's been back controlling the action for Liberty Charter this year. Avea Flores, the junior hitter, really good player as well. They have beaten Wilder. They've lost to Wilder. They lost to Oakley as well. Really, the schools from District 3 always seem to be just a little bit behind the other teams around the state. And Liberty Charter, especially this year, is the number 8 seed. This is going to be a tough task.
I mean, they made it. So that's one step. So
That's
they
right.
just got to figure out a way. Yeah, I mean, that first one's going to be real tough. But if they can battle back.
I think for both Liberty Charter and Wilder, they're the number 8 and number 7 seeds, the 2 teams from District 3. If they could make it to Saturday, I think that would be huge for either one of these teams. So let's just talk about Wilder while we're on them. Wilder 13-5 this year, but again, didn't really play anybody outside of their area. They beat Liberty Charter. They lost to Liberty Charter. Very senior heavy team. Natalie Escatilla, Nancy Ramirez, Kylie Luna, all 3 really good players. Kind of the same goal, I think. If you can get to Saturday morning, have a shot at, a top 4 finish for Wilder, I think that would be pretty huge.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be huge for them.
Yeah. Wilder gets first crack at Troy, even though the Trojans lost to Togiai in the district championship, still the number 2 seed overall. Only 28-4 this year. They have beaten Togiai 3 other times, so they're 3-1 against the Cubs this year. Deborah Blazard. So this is the only other school that has more championships besides Sugar Salem. Look at how small I had to make the font there. 14.
I know. I was like, look at that. So many.
14 championships for Troy, which is just insane.
Yeah.
of course, their streak very famously ended last year. Butte County won the title last year. Troy this year has Tessa Stoner, who is one of the best outside hitters in the tournament. They have Coach Blazard's, I believe it's her daughter, Madison Blazard, freshman, who has been a day one starter for Troy as well. What does Troy have to do to get back to the championship and maybe avenge the title they didn't win last year?
I think it's about, the mentality, right? I mean, look at how many championships you have there. And, I know they're young, but I think it's a mentality going in that, believe that you can do it. And it is going to be hard because Butte is a very talented team, but believe that you are too.
Yep. And as a reminder, Troy didn't even get to the championship last year. Oakley took care of them in that third place match. So Troy finished third last year. So the Trojans will be very motivated, to be sure. Speaking of Oakley, Oakley's had a really nice season, 26-9. Bryn Cranny in her second or third year coaching this Oakley team. A lot of the same girls that helped Oakley win the state basketball championship last winter, Taylin Beck, Livy Burlingay, Camilla Magana, all play volleyball as well. Oakley was the runner-up to Butte County last year. They lost to Butte County this year. They lost to Valley. They also did beat Valley twice. They beat Liberty Charter. Oakley is another team that's coming into state, Lynnsie, with unfinished business, as it were.
Yes. I feel like they're a fun team to watch too. They, they're very, very smart court sense wise, seeing what's happening across the net and using it to their advantage. Smart pushes, smart things like that. I won't get key into it, but we did play them too, but I think they could go far.
Yeah, I really like this Oakley team for sure. Oakley is going to get Togiai in the first round, and Oakley is on the same side of the bracket as Butte County up there, the 4 and the 5. Togiai 20-9 this year. They did beat Troy. They beat Wallace at a tournament. They did lose to Troy twice this year as well. Jackie Landmark, the head coach there for Togiai, and Emma Krogh, probably the best athlete, one of the best athletes at this tournament. She's a great basketball player, fantastic volleyball player, senior hitter. Mia Sams, really a fantastic setter as well. I think I'd have to go back and look at the stats. Not everybody had stats, but one of the leading assists totals in 2A volleyball this year as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're the ones that are kind of more unknown to me just because they they come out of the same district as Troy. But then when I saw that they had won the district title, I was like, oh. I was like, well, now you need to start paying attention to them.
Yeah, everybody's on notice now. So Togiai is not going to sneak up on anybody now, that's for sure. And then our final matchup, the 3 and the 6, Valley is the 3 seed. The Vikings went 19-8 and won this year. Win over Oakley, lost to Oakley twice. They lost to Butte County. This is a young team. I don't think there is a single senior on this year's Valley team. So all these girls will be back next year as well.
That is, I mean, that's what you want to hear, right? Because when you have seniors, it's so hard. But also at the same time, I think these girls have played a lot of volleyball together. Watching them, when we played them, they were very disciplined and controlled, and they, run a very disciplined defense. Again, I don't want to get into specifics because that's not why we're doing this. I think they're very disciplined, which is going to take them far too.
Yeah, for sure. And then they will play Wallace, the champions from the North, the Miners, 16-8 this year. Togiai, the only other team they've played in this tournament field. They did lose that matchup. Kylie Phillips, one of those players that's been starting basically since day one. She's a senior now. Aubrey Birdsell is a good setter, controlling the action in the middle. Katie Bauer, the coach of the Miners. And for Wallace, just to be back at state, there were a couple of years where they were the district champion. And since it was a small league, they had to do a play-in match and they didn't make it. This time they're the district champs and they get the spot at state. So for Wallace, just good to be back at state after a couple of years off.
Yeah, I think they're, again, enjoy the moment.
For sure. All right, here's our 2A bracket, Lynnsie. What do you think for a championship matchup?
I think Butte is going to take it. And, that's tough. I'm going to say, Valley or Oakley, you think?
Okay.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Oakley would be the rematch last year with Butte in the championship, so that would be a fun rematch for sure. I like it. Okay, I like Butte County as well. Give me Troy. This I think is the first time I've gone 1 versus 2. Maybe I did at 6A. Butte County and Troy, and I will take Troy. I think this loss to Cami has refocused them, reinvigorated them, and they know, hey, we are coming 110% every single matchup. And so, yeah, give me Butte County and Troy, and I will take the Trojans to reclaim their perch atop the 2A volleyball hierarchy. So should be a fun tournament overall, though, no doubt about it. So,
yeah.
Okay, one classification to go, 1A. We'll talk about it right after this on the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
Welcome back to the 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special on IdahoSports.com. Brandon Baney here with Lynnsie, Togiai, Ah-Fook. Lynnsie, you are a trooper. Thanks for hanging with us to talk all of these state tournaments. We appreciate it.
I love being here. Well, I love volleyball, as many of you know.
Yes, she loves volleyball. She tolerates IdahoSports.com. That's the for sure. Okay, this is the classification you know the best, and we always set up this disclaimer. Lynnsie is an assistant coach at Rockland, perennial participant here in the 1A state volleyball tournament. It really allows her to give a good perspective on all of the teams that are playing here at the 1A state volleyball tournament. But if anyone is concerned that we're just going to be on here talking about how Rockland is the best and Rockland's great, and no, we play it straight. We play it fair down the middle, and Lynnsie always does a really good job assessing all of the teams here at the tournament. You're very fair to everybody else. We always appreciate that.
Thank you. I try. I mean, I just call it a C. And I don't like to talk too much about any team that I'm on, so.
Right. I'll do the heavy lifting for Rockland, no doubt about it, because spoiler alert, Rockland's got a really good team again this year. So let's take a look at all of the district tournaments and how they all shook out. Up north in District 1, Court of Christ, in just their I think 3rd year of playing volleyball, 2nd year of being an IHSAA school. They won the district last year, lost the play-in match. This year they didn't have a play-in match, so they are at state for the first time ever. Congratulations to the Saints of Court of Christ Academy, private Catholic school up in Coeur d'Alene. District 2, the White Pine League. This got crazy. Genesee, the number 1 seed, gets the sweep, so they move on to state. Deary, the number 4 seed, they knock out number 3 seed Timberline 3-2. They knock out number 2 seed Nez Perce 3-2. And so Deary ends up getting into a state play-in match against Salmon River. Salmon River sweeps that 3-0. Speaking of Salmon River, their district is District 3. No surprise, Horseshoe Bend wins the district once again. Salmon River then had to play a really good council team just for the right to go to a play-in match, and Salmon River wins that 3-1. It was a bummer for council. They were a top 5 team by most of the metrics this year, just the way it goes sometimes, and so council is sitting home at state, and congratulations to Salmon River back at state for the first time in a couple of years. District 4, this is the Magic Valley. Cary beats Castleford in the district championship 3-1. And then this got a little crazy too. Hanson was the number 2 seed. They lost to Dietrich on their home floor 3-1, and then Castleford swept Dietrich 3-0. And that set up a play-in match between Castleford and Ledor. Ledor won that matchup. I didn't put them onto state here, but Ledor is the team that advances to state there. And so then over here in District 5 and 6, this bracket was so crazy, Lynnsie. I had to put the consolation side of the bracket all the way over here to the other side. It was like a whole separate tournament was going on. You never had to worry about that because Rockland just kept on winning all the way to the finals where they played Mackey. So it ended up being a 1 versus a 2. Rockland got the sweep 3-0. So Rockland, the district champ. Mackey also goes to state. The top 3 this year, Mackey, Rockland, and Ledor, all went 9-1 in the conference, all had beaten each other. So 3 really good teams. So it was nice to see Ledor emerge from this crazy consolation bracket, 3-1 over Chalice. Ledor then beat Castleford in the play-in match to move on to state. This is the only classification, Lynnsie, where the defending state champion is not back at state. That is Grace Lutheran. Their journey ended here against Ledor. They basically took 5th place at districts this year. So with that said, Grace Lutheran not back at state. Really fun story last year. It was their first championship of any kind in school history. But now a new team will have a chance to win a championship this year. What did you think of all the district tournament action from Class 1A?
I think a lot of the teams that are there, definitely not surprising, right? Like, especially on Horseshoe Bend's part. I think kudos to Salmon River because, they have never been to state, at least for the past 4 years. And so they finally pushed past council, unfortunately for council, because council always has a good program and coaching as well. But for the most part, I think it's been pretty consistent as far as like polls and rankings and all of that stuff. As far as that goes, I think all the teams here obviously earned their way. So,
yep. And as we're going to learn in this tournament, there are a lot of teams that have the color blue, and B, a lot of teams that are looking for their first championship in school history. So let's take a look at the bracket. Horseshoe Bend is the number 1 seed. They will play Court of Christ in the 1 versus 8 matchup. Rockland and Mackey, you got to love that, Lynnsie, right away. 4 versus 5 district championship rematch there. Salmon River and Ledor 3 and 6, and then Genesee, the 2, will play Cary, the 7. So let's start with Horseshoe Bend at the top. They are the number 1 overall seed, 23 and 5. And small team, I think they only have players, and that's basically the 6 starters in the libero. They maybe have 1 reserve, but it's a low number of roster players and pretty much all underclassmen. You see their key players, sophomore Malia Goff, junior Kimber Jones, freshman Valate Wilson. And look at the wins. Ledor and 3 times against Salmon River. Horseshoe Bend has won 3 of the last 4 championships. Grace Lutheran, of course, won last year. Horseshoe Bend is the favorite. What makes them so tough every single year?
I think they really focus on volleyball up there and on their volleyball program, and they've had a really good, really good program ever since I've seen them play. Very consistent. All the girls, want to play volleyball year round. They do a lot of club and high level play. I think they're very committed and just really good chemistry with each other too.
Yes, they do a good job with their club program over there in Horseshoe Bend as well. Sharsty Moore, the head coach there. They will be playing Court of Christ. Only 15 matches for Court of Christ this year, 10 and 4. Didn't play anybody else at state. Didn't lose to anybody else at state. Natalie Kiefer is the coach. She's got a pretty good athletic background herself. Kate Clemens, Madeline Junkin, the 2 seniors. SB Klocko, a good freshman that's coming as well. But for Court of Christ, this is, hey, we made it to state for the first time in school history. Now let's go see if we can get that first win at state in school history, right?
Agreed. I think they're going to be happy to be there and just enjoying their time.
Yep, for sure. Okay, the other matchup on the top half of the bracket, 4 and 5, Rockland and Mackey. All right, Rockland this year, 24 and 9 and 2. A couple of draws in there at some of the tournaments. Suzanne Wilson, the head coach, has done a great job the past several years. There are some really good senior leaders on this team. Harmony Boyer has been a key player the last couple of years. Trin Weiss, great passer, coached very capably by Lynnsie, passing in the middle for sure. Madison Radford, really good also. You see the wins, Ledor twice, Mackey twice. They did lose to Ledor once in the regular season. That was the only conference loss for Rockland this year, though, and then they didn't lose at districts. So I feel like Rockland is a team that's locked in and pretty focused here, Lynnsie.
I hope so.
I think so. Tell me a little bit about Mackey. I'm sure you're thrilled to be playing Mackey again, 19-7. You beat him twice this year, 2-0 against him. They have beaten Ledor twice, and they've beaten Carey twice. So they've got some wins on their resume. Mallory Hawking does a really nice job with this program. I feel like Jada Rodriguez is really underrated. Alyssa Pearson and Danica Seafried get a lot of the headlines. I think Jada Rodriguez, sneaky good player for Mackey as well.
I agree. She's a really good all-around player. Has really good, habits and tendencies when she swings, and smart about where she places the ball. I think, obviously these Mackey girls, they play, they played together since they're really little too, since they're little girls, and they, especially these three, they really lead the team well. I think, they compete. They compete in every time we play them. And, we say, it's fun in that, but, it's truly hard to play the same team like a fourth and fifth time. It becomes harder and harder. Not just because, you can predict things and that whatnot, but ultimately, right, it's just like again and again and again. That's hard.
Yes, and Mackey, just the way they play too, nothing's easy. You got to go earn everything you get against them. They make you work for it for sure.
Agreed.
So, the third team that made it from the Rocky Mountain Conference is Ledor. Ledor also really good, 21-7. Susan Whitaker, the head coach. Lexi Bird, finally in her senior year, one of those players that you feel like's been there for 10 years. She has been a starter since day one. They've got wins over Carey and Rockland this year. They also have lost to Carey and Rockland twice, and Mackey twice, and Horseshoe Bend. So that is 6 of their 7 losses, Lynnsie, have come to teams in the field. At some point for Ledor, do those losses and those close losses start turning into wins? How do they flip that?
I feel like, at this point for them, it's going to be a battle. They consistently, every team has, things to work on. I feel like for them, they don't have a lot of height, and so they don't have really strong hitting, but they place the ball really well. And so if they can just keep working on things to their strengths, I think that'll be key for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Ledor does in their first round matchup. And again, here's the bracket. They will take on Salmon River, the number 3 seed, the Savages of Salmon River. I didn't have their slide ready, so I've got to stall a little bit here. We talked about Salmon River and what kind of team they're bringing to the table here, their first time at state in a couple of years at least. Now here is Salmon River, 23-5 this year, Lynnsie. 3 of the 5 losses were to Horseshoe Bend. And this is another team that is fairly young. Yeah, they've got Riley Walters, the senior. And I kind of chose the upperclassmen to spotlight here, Taylor Ewing and Stevie Herzig, but there are also a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are playing significant stretches for Salmon River also.
Yeah, I think they're really coming on strong this year. This year more than ones in the past, right? Because usually it's Horseshoe Bend and Council. So they've been able to, really come together, even though they're younger. I feel like a lot of these teams, though, they have at least a couple of freshmen who are really doing a good job for them.
Yes, a lot of younger girls being counted on early for varsity minutes. And, for Salmon River, we'll see how they do. Kind of the new belle of the ball, as it were, at this 1A tournament that seems to have the same teams year over year competing, like Genesee, right? Genesee, we're kind of used to seeing at state here. The Bulldogs 25-10 this year, 5 championships in school history. They have got a really tremendous senior class of girls. Riley Basinger, Chloe Greaser, Aaliyah Wareham, just part of that. But again, kind of isolated away from everybody in North Idaho. Didn't play anybody at state, so no key wins, no key losses either. But Genesee is a team you've seen at state the past couple of years. What makes them such a good program?
I know that they had a really good setter last year, and they, whoever's taking over that spot, I'm sure is doing a really good job. They, I think they have really disciplined girls who, compete and want to win. So I could see them going far too.
Yes, definitely. And then our last team is Cary, the Cary Panthers. I can't get their slide to load into the system, so I'm going to try and bring it up on my screen here, or at least tell you about Cary and what they've got going on. The Panthers were the champions of District 4. They did take care of Castleford in that district championship game. They went 13-9 this season, and so a pretty good season for Cary. They played a lot of really tough opponents. They have beaten Leadore. They've also lost to Leadore. They lost to Horseshoe Bend, and they lost to Mackey twice as well. And let's see if I can get this up here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's Cary, 13-9. I had to open it in Microsoft Paint. Andy, yeah, real basic. Andy Simpson, probably their best all-around athlete. Abby Whittier, really good outside hitter as well. Cary, I'm trying to remember, did they go to the Butte County tournament this year, the I Pink I Can tournament?
Yeah, they were there.
Okay, so what do you know about this Cary team, Lynnsie?
I know that they've had really good coaching, and that coach, she really cares about them and demonstrates that through what I've seen every time. And I know that, they have really exciting moments, and then it's just I don't know if they have younger players too, which I'm sure they do. It's just like those things where we call them like freshman moments. I don't know, where it's just like, really, like, why? But that's just, they don't know. They don't know why they chose to do that. And so it's like, oh yeah, well, just remember, try to have less freshman moments.
Yes, they do have some freshmen. I mean, Emily Dahlstrom, freshman in the middle. Andy's younger sister, I believe, Allie Simpson, is only a sophomore, still kind of learning as well. And you're right, Teresa Smith, really good coach. I think she played at Shelley in high school back in the day. So, yes, very fun team. Certainly Cary in the mix there as well. And then here's the 1A bracket. I never ask Lynnsie to make a prediction because she's coaching in the tournament, of course, so we want her to remain neutral. I will give my 1A prediction, though. I do think Rockland and Horseshoe Bend are slated to meet in the championship. It's happened a couple of times over the years. There's been some epic battles. I always say the same thing. Until somebody actually takes the crown from Horseshoe Bend, I have to defer to the Mustangs. This might be the year. They're very young. They don't have a ton of depth. Rockland, on the other hand, a lot of seniors and some good depth. And so if this is going to be the year, it wouldn't surprise me. But until, and this is the bulletin board material for your girls, Lynnsie, you can hang it up there. Until somebody actually does it, I'm going to go with Horseshoe Bend. So that's my prediction.
Okay.
Yes. Use that to fuel your girls at state. So for sure.
Fair.
All right. Well, Lynnsie, best of luck to you and Rockland and all of the teams that are competing at state this weekend. And thank you for coming on, as always, to talk about, because nobody else is doing this in Idaho. Nobody else is talking about these girls and talking about these great teams and players. And so this is what we do it for, to shine the volleyball spotlight on all the incredible young ladies that are out there playing the game.
Yep, we do it because we love it. We love sharing all this, passion, but also just highlighting all these girls. There's so much good going on in the state that, yeah, I'm glad that Idaho Sports does this. And, I do appreciate Idaho Sports for always updating brackets and all the time that you put into this. So you got to give it to Brandon and the team, because they put a lot of time and effort into all of this.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Lynnsie, too. It's nice to have an expert on that knows the game instead of, me that still is learning for sure. So, all right. Well, thanks, everybody, for tuning in to our 2025 Idaho High School State Volleyball Tournament Preview Special. Good luck to all the teams out there competing this weekend. Get to state and back home safely, and we'll see you back here next season to do it all again. Good luck to everybody this weekend. Lynnsie, thanks as always.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next time on IdahoSports.com.